Contract fulfillment, confirming final details at sign-up.
Prospects may not speak untruths all the time, but if you proceed as if they do and then confirm each and every piece of information you receive, you are likely to come away with a more accurate picture of your sign-up opportunity. This strategy recommends you double check what prospects tell you or what you understand they told you. Assuming all prospects lie, whether or not they intend to, will prevent you from acting on false assumptions and misunderstandings.
Pre-handling sign-on second guesses.
Traditional trainers would have the representative get in, get the agent enrolled, and quickly get out before there was any opportunity for the recruit to change their mind. While that kind of rep behavior may not be as prevalent today as it once was, it's worth understanding. The get the order and get out strategy was designed to circumvent the effects of buyer's remorse, i.e., the prospect having doubts about their decision and then seeking to back out of the agreement. Traditionalists were slow to learn that trapping the customer into a one-time deal may ensure the single deal, but it will likely destroy the chances of a long-term relationship. And as lead agent, it's that long-term working relationship with each member of your agent team that you're seeking to build. Rather than attempting to trap your recruit into just accepting a deal, a better strategy is to make sure the prospect, with the exception of the bit of training, question answering, and ongoing counseling you'll be providing, is 100% comfortable with the arrangement before signing on the dotted line. And make absolutely sure there are no deep-seated misgivings and no reasons to back out. How's that accomplished? Well, rather than reviewing all of the positives, the benefits and advantages of CARS in a poorly fitting attempt to reinforce the prospect's decision to move forward, you actually give the prospect a chance to back out before finalizing recruitment. That's right. Give the prospect a chance to back out, to get away. Encourage him to take a hard look at his decision and make sure he has no doubts. Neither you or he want to be on a team where members are not 100% certain of themselves, the situation, their mission, and their next best and repeating moves. If there were any elements of the deal that represented uncertainty, bring them up and make sure the prospect is now completely comfortable with them.
Sign-up review.
Reviewing of the sign-up with the prospect accomplishes 5 things. First, it enhances your credibility. Only someone who is extremely confident in what they offer and the structure of the agreement would encourage a prospective recruit to re-examine his positive decision. Second, this strategy gives a prospective recruit a chance to reconfirm their choice to move ahead. If there are second thoughts, the prospect has an opportunity to express them in a no-pressure environment. Third, if the prospective recruit does have doubts, you can address them while you are still face-to-face, which is usually far more effective and far easier than trying to deal with them over the phone. Fourth, doing so clears up any mysticism or uncertainty swirling around your prospect. Fifth, the pressure relief on you as the presenter lowers to just about floor height. Now, although there are no hidden sharp edges with CARS, your establishment of additional upfront credibility in this way will only strengthen the prospect's resolve to move forward.
Preparing for fulfillment.
A good presenter inspires respect, confidence, credibility, and belief. We'll now give attention to the steps you've recommended to follow in your own style to turn yourself into a professional CARS representative. The notes you've taken during your verbal dialogue over the phone, in person, email, or text with the prospect provide you much of the information you'll need to deliver your winning presentation, because those notes focus on motivations and pain specific to this prospect. If there are a number of pains, be sure to prioritize them from the most severe pain to the least. Take a moment to reflect on the prospect's pain and decide what you want to say about each one. Ensure that what you decide to say does, in fact, relate to a specific pain. This isn't the time for you to raise new obstacles and get in your own way of signing up a recruit you want. Be advised that if you rushed through prospect pain analysis or it's incomplete, your prospect might introduce some new objections during this fulfillment step. Any of these mistakes can prove fatal and result in an unsuccessful fulfillment step. Plan and pre-plan to avoid them. First, failure to establish the upfront agreement with the prospect prior to beginning the presentation. Second, failure to identify the prospect's pain. Third, failure to clarify the issue of money. And fourth, failure to get the prospect's agreement about the sign-on decision.
Fulfillment, the beginning.
Begin fulfillment by reviewing the many conclusions and agreements at which you've arrived with your prospect as you move through the steps of your dialogue. This is a good time to review them to make sure you have 100% agreement from your prospect on the issues of pain, money, and decision. For example,
my notes here, Chip, say that your major concern right now is having to reduce your family's lifestyle and that caring for your parents limits the hours available you have to work. Is that correct?
If the prospect doesn't reply affirmatively, proceeding will be impaired as one or more of his major problems or pains was apparently missed, or he was asleep during your dialogue or misled you somehow. This is the time at which those items must be tabled, addressed, and clarified before proceeding. As a footnote on the presentation process, it can be iterative, meaning that you may sometimes have to go back over certain portions. And starting out, that's okay. The presentation process itself can be very forgiving. And why? Because you're talking to the prospect about the prospect and their greatest needs. You can, if necessary, circle back and cover certain previously covered topics of specific prospect interest or relevance.
Fulfillment, the middle.
Now is the time to talk about the features and benefits of cash cards. Use them to drive home how you can solve the prospect's pain. Go ahead and demonstrate your business knowledge at this point. This is your opportunity to show and tell. Show the prospect everything there is to see about cash card which relate to the pains he's expressed. Bring out everything that relates to pain. During the actual presentation, there's usually no need to reverse question. If, though, there are some cash card feature and benefit bells and whistles that don't relate to the prospect's pain, optionally draw them out via harmless Columbo-style questions. We found, though, that talking about a feature or benefit that's not specifically relevant to the prospect and or their pain can present a distraction to the prospect, plus pose a waste of time and lost cycles to you. It's not necessary to finish your presentation. Your goal is to sign up the prospect if he otherwise meets your criteria, or to exit early if he doesn't, or shows no hope of ever developing into a candidate worthy of your agent consideration. It's not unusual for presenters to ramble in the midsection of fulfillment. By reviewing pain points and motivations, you already established the theme of your fulfillment exercise in the beginning of your presentation, so you want to stick to it. Don't raise new issues, don't drift, maintain good eye contact with your prospect, and keep up the conversational pace. Say as much as you have to, but be brief, simple, focused, concise, to the point, and direct. Take control, but don't get carried away with yourself or forget to encourage your interchange with your prospect. Cash card doesn't take that long to present. Plus, many active, mentally coagulative prospects will have already familiarized themselves with cash card features and benefits online. Your fulfillment middle can often be comparatively abbreviated. As a reminder, the prospect isn't primarily interested in you as a person. They're probably not looking for career options as a primary means of making new friends. Prospects are only human, and humans are just like any other mammal, always only concerned about what's in it for them and how you can make their pain disappear. To keep that singular necessary focus, imagine you see the question, "What's in it for me?" imprinted on the prospect's forehead. Stated another way, all prospects are interested in what's in it for me, and therefore constantly tuned to radio station WII-FM. As far as use of humor goes, it's okay to be humorous in your presentation, but there are many different standards of humor. What's funny to you may not necessarily be funny to your prospect. Unless you're certain the humor will work, you're usually better off not using it. Misguided humor ends presentations and relationships prematurely every day. As quickly as possible in the midsection of your presentation, get the prospect involved. If you want, use reversing techniques to engage constructive conversation. As soon as the prospect interrupts you or responds to you, stop. Don't talk. You already know what you're going to say. It, as you know, is far more important to hear your partner in this dialogue so that you can know what's on the prospect's mind. Perhaps you'll discover the prospect is ready to sign on and there's no need to continue. Prospects, incidentally, don't always interrupt verbally. Be alert for body motion, shaking the head either positively or negatively, crossing the arms, backing away or looking away from you, each mean something significant. Take a pause and give the prospect an opportunity to speak verbally or otherwise. Don't be afraid to fold your tent up early. If you suspect your prospect hasn't been truthful with you, or if you, for some reason, believe you're getting the runaround, simply discontinue your presentation.
Well, Chip, based on what you've said, I believe I shouldn't waste any more of your time. I don't see any sense in continuing.
At that time, you can begin to deliberately pack up and leave. If that's what the prospect prefers, you already know they're not going to stop you, in which case you're better off getting back to a more productive part of your day, possibly including moving on to the next real prospect. If your presentation starts heading down the wrong track, for whatever reason, hook up, bail out. If the prospect objects to your leaving, you've perhaps misread the situation. If you're not sure, you know what to do. Just ask a simple question to reintroduce yourself and the prospect to ongoing dialogue.
Oh, you say you had additional questions?
Fulfillment, the end.
While it's important not to rush fulfillment, it's also important to finish as quickly as possible and still sign up the new agent. The sooner you successfully wrap up, the sooner you've added another profit-generating agent to your team. However, it's not always easy to know exactly when to conclude your presentation, particularly if it's going well with the candidate you want who wants to be an agent of yours. After all, part of what you're then doing is getting to know one another, gaining mutual interpersonal comfort, and laying the foundation stones of your upcoming working relationship. To confirm pain resolution and stop later fallback, you can ask,
Chip, are you 100% comfortable that being a cash card agent is for you?
If this question requires an affirmative response from the prospect, or they can have an out for later if an out is what you want them to have, once again, based as their decision, it's best to give it to them as a pivotal point in fulfillment. Cash card, as a reminder, is way too popular with, attractive to, and appealing to prospects to have to take anyone you don't really want. Use of this question accomplishes out cancellation without applying pressure. In order to move forward, you really need his complete agreement, so give your prospect time to raise objections. If you were thorough in flushing out your prospect's pains, and if you've not been purposely or inadvertently misled, he shouldn't raise anything now that you haven't already heard from him and addressed. But, as with your simple pain flushing early on question, let him talk. Then, use cash card features and benefits to convince him that you can solve his problems. Once he says he's 100% in agreement, you can then tackle any new subsequent pains that come up in the future in the same fashion.